In this video, we're diving into one of the biggest questions that non-U.S. residents ask. What's the best state to form an LLC in if I don't live in the United States? What's going on, everyone? My name is Eric Hunsaker, and on this channel, we cut through the fluff to help you make smarter business decisions without getting buried in legal jargon or bad advice. So if you're a foreign entrepreneur thinking about launching your US business, then stick around. This is the guide that I wish more people had before they made the wrong choice and had to clean up the mess later. Why the state you choose actually matters. Now, first things first, not all US states are created equal when it comes to forming a business. If you're a non-resident, the state you choose for your LLC can impact how much you pay in fees and taxes, how much privacy you get, whether you can open a US bank account, how easy it is to stay compliant, and honestly, how much of a headache it'll be in the long run. But here's the twist that most people miss. If you're doing business in the US, you don't get to choose. Let's say you're buying a house in Florida to rent out on Airbnb, or opening a restaurant in New York. In both of those cases, the LLC must be registered in the state where the business physically operates. Even if you heard that Delaware is the best, you can't register your LLC there if all your operations are in Texas. That's called foreign qualification, and it means you'd have to register in both states and pay double the fees. Not fun. So before you go any further, ask yourself this. Is my business physically operating in a specific US state? And if yes, then register it there. Done. But if not, if you're running a remote business, a SaaS product, a consulting agency, or even an e-commerce brand from another country, you do have options. And that's where things get interesting. How to choose the best state for your non-resident LLC. So if you're not tied to a specific state, there are 5 main things that you want to look at when comparing your options. Number 1, one-time filing fees. So every state charges you something to open an LLC. Some charge a little more, some charge a lot. For example, New Mexico is only $50 to file. Wyoming is around $100 to $150. Nevada is a hefty $300. New York? Well, that one comes with surprise publication costs that can push the price over $1,200. So yeah, choose wisely. 2. Annual maintenance costs. Now, most states also charge yearly fees to keep your LLC active, often called annual reports or franchise taxes. Here's a quick comparison. Wyoming, only $60 per year. Delaware, $300 per year. Nevada is around $200 per year. New Mexico is $0, so there's no annual fee at all. Some states like California charge a minimum $800 per year, so again, not exactly friendly if you're just getting started. 3. Anonymity and privacy. Not every entrepreneur wants their name and address floating around the internet. If you care about privacy, some states are much better than others. Wyoming, Delaware, Nevada, and New Mexico all let you form an LLC without having to publicly list your name. Other states, that's not always the case. This can be especially important for people who want to separate their personal identity from their business, or just keep things low profile. 4. How fast and how easy it is. Now, some states make the LLC process fast and seamless. Others move like molasses. Wyoming can be done in minutes online. Delaware, usually 1 business day. New Mexico can take up to 3 weeks unless you pay to speed it up. Nevada is 24 hours if you pay the rush fee. Also, not every state lets you file everything online. Places like Mississippi, Alabama, and Kentucky might require mailing documents or showing up in person, which is not ideal if you live in Europe or Asia. 5. Bank account compatibility. Here's a hidden detail that most guides skip. Not every bank likes every LLC. Some fintech companies like Stripe or Mercury have stricter policies for LLCs formed in New Mexico. They may deny your application or ask for extra documents. If you're planning to open a US bank account remotely, it's usually safest to go with Wyoming, Delaware, or Nevada. These are more widely accepted and better known among payment processors and banks. The best states for non-resident LLCs. 2025 edition. So now that we've covered what to look for, let's break down the top 4 states that people keep coming back to and why. Wyoming, the simple, low-cost favorite. Wyoming has become the go-to state for non-US residents starting online businesses. And here's why. There's no state income tax, a low filing fee, somewhere between $100 and $150. Annual fee is just $60. You can form your LLC 100% online. Privacy protection, no public list of owners. Fast processing, 1 to 3 days. It's basically the MVP for remote businesses. It's affordable, efficient, and banks generally don't have a problem with it. Now, a couple of downsides are that some banks have started giving Wyoming LLCs a bit more scrutiny, just because so many are created there. It's not ideal if you're looking for VC funding or dealing with complex corporate structures. But for a small online biz, it's a winner. Delaware, the corporate darling. Now, if you've Googled anything about LLCs, then you've probably seen Delaware pop up everywhere. And it's true. Delaware has strong legal protections, a dedicated business court, the Court of Chancery, no sales tax or estate income tax on out-of-state revenue, fast filing, often one business day, high anonymity. It's great for startups raising money from investors, holding companies, business with legal complexity. Now, some things to watch out for is a $300 annual fee. It's not terrible, but it's higher than Wyoming. It's blacklisted in some countries like Brazil and Croatia, meaning more paperwork and inspections. It's slightly more expensive to maintain. Now, bottom line, Delaware is excellent, but usually overkill for a simple online business. Still, if you're looking to build something big, it's a solid bet. New Mexico, the super cheap option. If your main goal is to keep costs as low as possible, New Mexico is tough to beat. It's only $50 to file. There's no annual report or renewal fee. There's an anonymous structure, and the entire process can be done online. Sounds great, right? Now here's the catch. Some banks and payment processors may not accept New Mexico LLCs without a physical U.S. address. It can also take up to 3 weeks to process unless you pay for a faster service. There's no state income tax exemption. It's a flat 4.8% on income. So if you're comfortable navigating around all the small changes, New Mexico can save you a lot of money in the long run. Nevada. Business friendly, but pricier. Now, Nevada has a reputation similar to Wyoming, but with a slightly higher price tag. There's no state income tax, filing costs around $300, annual fees of $200, very strong privacy protection, easy online registration, and fast turnaround. It can be 1 day with an extra fee. It's a great choice if you're okay with the higher cost and you want something a little more premium. But honestly, if your business isn't based in Vegas or you're not in love with Nevada's reputation, Wyoming usually gives you the same benefits for less. How to actually form your LLC step by step with LegalZoom. All right, now you've picked the right state for your LLC. Let's walk through how to actually get it done. If you want to handle everything manually, going to the Secretary of State's website, downloading forms, faxing the IRS, you totally can. But if you're like most non-U.S. residents, that's going to be confusing, time-consuming, and full of annoying surprises. That's why I recommend using LegalZoom. It's one of the easiest, most reliable platforms to form a U.S. LLC, even if you're starting the process from overseas. So to get started, just click the link down in the description to go directly to the LLC setup page. From here, just click on Start My Business, and then we'll go to LLC Formation. So when you click that link down in the description, it'll bring you to this page right here. Now from here, all you need to do is click on Start My Business, and from here, click on Start My LLC. Now, if you want, you can go ahead and scroll down just a little bit here, and you can click on Learn More. And this will bring you to their page where you can go ahead and choose from one of their 3 different packages. So LegalZoom has the basic package, which is free. You just pay the state filing fees. Now it's great, but as the name implies, it's pretty basic. The Pro plan is $249 plus the state filing fees. Now with that, you're going to get an operating agreement, an EIN, bookkeeping tools, access to over 150 customizable legal documents, unlimited e-signatures for 1 year, and you get a customizable website that's powered by Wix. If you want to go the premium route, that is $299 plus state filing fees, and you get everything in the Pro plan, plus you get hands-on guidance from experienced attorneys. So for this option, I'm going to go with the basic plan and show you how you can get some of this stuff, but for a little bit cheaper price. So let's go ahead and click on Form My LLC, and then here's just going to ask you your business name. I'll type in, Eric's Book Store. We'll go ahead and click next. And this is where you go ahead and choose the state. So for this example, I'll go ahead and go with Wyoming, which is all the way here at the bottom, and click on next. From here, you can go ahead and put in your contact information. If you'd like, you don't have to, but if you're doing this, I would recommend that you enter your email address and your phone number. And then we'll go ahead and click on next, and then you just go ahead and enter in your industry. So I'll go ahead and select bookstore here and go ahead and click next. You just type in your industry, and if you don't have one, you can go ahead and type that in and you should be able to add it yourself. Now here, let's go ahead and click next one more time. And then from here, we can go ahead and select a plan. Now this is where we can go ahead and get some of the things that are offered in those paid plans, but for a little bit cheaper price. I mean, even just looking at the most expensive one here, this is still $50 cheaper than if you were to go and choose the other option. Now with this, you're gonna get the operating agreement, the EIN, and forms and e-sign. So really the only thing you're missing out here from that Pro plan is the website. And if you're okay with that, this is a good way to save $50. So let's go ahead and select that. Then it's going to ask if you want to get started with a business bank account, which if you want to, you can go ahead and do that. But for this example, I'm going to click no thanks. And then here you can go ahead and get expedited processing for $99. Or if you're good with the 5 to 14 standard day processing, you can save $99, which we'll go ahead and do for this example. And I don't need a founder's kit. It's just essentially a pretty printed out version of all your documents. So go ahead and click next. And then here for only $299, that's going to cover the operating agreement, the EIN, the legal forms, and e-sign, as well as the state filing fees, which for Wyoming here is $100. And so the total comes out to $299. Now, if you don't already have a registered agent, you can add LegalZoom's registered agent service for $249 per year. It includes a U.S. business address, mail scanning and legal document alerts, annual compliance reminders, extra privacy, so your name and home address stay off public records, and then just review and pay. Make sure you double check your details, choose your turnaround time, and complete your payment. Now, once everything's submitted, LegalZoom will file your LLC with the state, request your EIN from the IRS if you selected that option, and send you your documents once it's all approved. Why LegalZoom works well for international founders. They handle everything for you. No dealing with U.S. government websites or confusing forms. They work with non-residents and non-citizens, so no U.S. address or social security numbers required. You get compliance reminders so you don't miss important filings. Their support team is experienced with international clients, so you won't be left hanging. So if you want to get started with LegalZoom, just click the link down in the description to get started and follow along with this walkthrough to see exactly how the process works in real time. All right, let's wrap this up with some real talk. If you're just starting out, it's easy to overthink this part. You see people arguing in forums, Reddit threads full of Wyoming versus Delaware, and conflicting advice from blog posts trying to sell you on something. But the truth is, your best state really depends on what kind of business that you're building and what matters most to you. So if you're building an online business, something like freelancing, e-commerce, content creation, or running a remote agency, and you want to keep costs low, protect your privacy, and not deal with a bunch of red tape, Wyoming's probably your best bet. It's affordable, simple, and banks and platforms generally know how to work with it. Now, if you're planning to raise money from investors, work with co-founders, or build a company that could scale big and fast, Delaware is one of the most investors and VCs will be most comfortable with. It's got strong legal protections and a well-known business corp, and it's just the default choice in the startup world. Now, on the flip side, if you're just testing the waters, maybe launching a side project or setting up a holding company, and your top priority is keeping the budget as small as possible, then New Mexico can be a smart move. It's super cheap up front, has no annual renewal fees, and gives you an anonymity. But it's not quite as bank-friendly as Wyoming or Delaware, so you might have to work a little harder to get a U.S. business bank account or Stripe account approved. And finally, there's Nevada. It gives you strong privacy and fast setup times, but it costs more to maintain and doesn't really give you much that Wyoming doesn't already offer for less. Now that said, some people still like to go with Nevada because they like its business-friendly vibe and reputation. So here's the bottom line. Want simple and reliable? Go with Wyoming. Want to raise money and look legit to investors? Go with Delaware. Want to spend as little as humanly possible? New Mexico. Want fast filing and don't mind paying extra? Consider Nevada. No matter what state you choose, just make sure you fully understand what you're getting into, especially when it comes to staying compliant each year and setting up your bank account properly. And hey, don't stress too much about getting it perfect. The most important thing is that you actually take action and get started. Wrapping up. Picking the right state for your LLC isn't about what's most popular. It's about what fits your specific business situation and what problems you're trying to avoid down the road. So hopefully this breakdown helped you make that choice a little clearer. Now, if you want more deep dive content on LLC formation, banking as a foreigner, or handling taxes from overseas, then make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you want to get started setting up your LLC or holding company, you'll find links to do so down in the description below. These are affiliate links, which means we earn a small commission when you use them at no extra cost to you. And these commissions really help support the channel and allow us to continue to create free content just like this. So if you end up using them, we thank you so much in advance. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. Here on the LLC channel, we cover everything that you need to know about forming, managing, and scaling your LLC or holding company, plus smart tax strategies and business tips to help you grow. So be sure to subscribe. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you here in the next video.